Here we are at example 2D from our 4.3, 4.4 set of notes. We're asked to factor the following. And in just looking at that step 1, we're trying to check and see, is there a greatest common factor? And unfortunately, we do not have a common thing that they all have. These two are divisible by 4, but this last one is not. Okay, these two are divisible by 5, but this first one is not. So unfortunately, we cannot go ahead and do our step 1. We pretty much just have to go to step 2, which is just tearing this up by having two binomials. Because again, we are talking about a trinomial here. In doing so, we just set up our two different parentheses. And looking and trying to figure out what times what gives us 4x squared. Well, 2x times another 2x would definitely accomplish that. We'd end up with 4x squared. And by the way, a lot of times, not every single time, but a lot of times we're going to see where we have those kind of middle numbers, because again, the factors for this 4x squared, or I should just say for the 4 are 1 comma 4 and 2 comma 2. And typically you kind of choose the inner two numbers. Not every time, but a lot of times you do that. Then we're going to move on to our last number, 25. Well, creating a list for the numbers 25, we have 1 comma 25. We have 5 comma 5, and that's pretty much it. So just looking at these, we're probably again going to go with those two inner two numbers, like 5 and 5. Not every time, but we'll give it a shot. Noticing how every single thing in here is positive, then that means that the factored form also has to all be positive. And now we're in a position where we can go ahead and check and see, hey, did we end up with the correct factored form if we go ahead and try distributing. So 2x times 2x gives us our 4x squared. Our 2x times positive 5 gives us 10x. When we distribute the 5 to the other 2x, we end up then with another 10x. And then lastly, 5 times 5, we get our 25. So when we combine these two in the middle, we do end up with the 20x. So this does check out. Now the purpose of this example is not just to show the factored form, but to then also take this and rewrite it another way. If you have 2x plus 5 and you're multiplying it by itself, 2x plus 5, well, we know that we can go ahead and rewrite that then as 2x plus 5 quantity squared. And this is actually really a better form, this 2x plus 5 quantity squared. That's actually a better way of looking at than this 2x plus 5 times 2x plus 5. And there's reasons, especially for when we get to solving in the very near future. Okay, it's going to make things a little bit easier. But again, though, that is example 2D from our 4.3, 4.4 set of notes.